everybody out there in YouTube. We are the Middle Age Guys, and in this particular video, we're going to be bullshitting about the biggest video game expo that happens every year, the Electronics Entertainment Expo E3, which is going to be coming to us in LA in just a week away, June 10th. Let's get the introductions out of the way. I'm the Reverend.
The theme here.
Gray Mouse 1.
Like I said right at the top of the video, E3 is the biggest video game expo industry-wide. It is the show where not only do all of the big publishers and all the big players in the industry come together, but they take the time out to go ahead and show off to the world, hey, this is pretty much our roadmap for consumers and for gamers leading into the end of the year, all right? Or possibly leading into the next few years into the future, all right? This is our big, you're getting a big peek behind the curtain. We're going to start our hype now for all of our big titles that if they're not coming, this holiday season, maybe holiday season next year, or maybe the year after that, or maybe the year a decade from now, depending on what developer you are. But with every E3, especially if you're somebody who's paid attention to the industry for as closely as we have, or even as intently as we do, there are certain things that happen in every E3 that people would sit there and say, hey, look, that was predictable, or wow, that really surprised me. In which case, what we're going to be doing in this particular video is that we're going to be doing our E3 predictions, all right? Now, we're not going to be going through each and every publisher that is out there on the floor. What we're going to do is that we're pretty much going to concentrate in this particular video on the big three, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, what we expect from their presentations at E3, and also, hopefully, some things out of left field that we predict that they might say, and maybe something that we hope that they would say. All right. I think that's pretty much it. That pretty much sets the table for us, right? I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
E3, like I said, is starting Saturday, June 10th. And that's actually going to be kicked off by EA, which isn't going to be at the expo. They're having their own event. But once EA starts their event, that is the official start of E3. That's part of the actual conference schedule and everything else. But the first out of the big three that's going to be hitting on doing their huge press conference is that on Sunday, June 11th, Microsoft, instead of doing their Monday thing like they have over the past decade, actually, I think they bumped Ubisoft out of the Sunday slot, or they bumped Bethesda out of their usual Sunday slot, and they're taking the Sunday slot now. They're going to be starting up 2 p.m. Sunday, June 11th, and that's going to be the first one we're going to start with. So I'm going to open up the floor, gentlemen. What are your predictions for Microsoft as far as what they're going to be showing off at E3, and what are some things that you're hoping they're going to show off?
Gray Mouse, you're the only Xbox One owner in this group. Lay it on us. What's your predictions, and what do you expect?
I'm not here to sell the system to anybody, so I'll just go ahead and put that in perspective. Anyway. Well,
since you're the only owner here, you know what's current. You know what they deal with as far as...
I think they're going to have a big, huge push, which is kind of obvious, for the code name Scorpio. We'll find out what it looks like. We'll find out, stuff like that. I think that's going to be a big one. There was also rumblings about them having exclusive for a AAA content or AAA game. We're going to marketing for that. We don't know what game it's going to be. I think Phil Spencer made a couple of comments about that. Other than that, they'll probably do the same old stuff they do every year. They'll probably have a muscle car on the stage for Forza. I mean, come on. They'll probably show, I can't think of it off the top of my head, the pirate game. I can't think of it right now.
Sea of Thieves.
Yeah. They'll probably show that. They'll push that a lot. They'll probably push Crackdown 3. But Spencer already said that there's going to be no Halo. Even 343 Industries says there's going to be no Halo, no Gears of War. So, I mean, those are open slots for something that maybe they'll have worthwhile to convince other people that haven't adopted to the Xbox One console yet. Hopefully that will help, help and do that. But I'm sure that I'm missing out a couple of games, off the top of my head. But I'm not sure if I'm really excited about any of E3, to be quite honest with you. I think it's going to be probably a lackluster E3 in general, because there's really nothing that's would be over the top. I think it was all taken, in the previous years, last year and the year before that.
Don't bear the lead on that one. We'll come back to that point. I'm pretty sure we're going to be pretty much in agreement on that wholeheartedly for a lot of things, and we'll come back to that point. But what about you, Theme? What are your expectations of Microsoft and their E3 presentation?
They're going to try to push the Scorpio as much as they fucking can, as far as announcing features with games and what they're going to have some type of live demo of that. That's what I see. They're going to have EA on stage, basically showcasing their sports. That's their partnership. They're going to have that. As far as anything else, as far as games go, they will announce certain things that are not going to capture fans as to say, I need to get that system for that. Honestly, I don't think any of the big three, besides maybe a couple from Nintendo, that could actually do that. But Microsoft, maybe they'll announce something like original Xbox backwards compatibility. That wouldn't surprise me at all, because of the success of the Xbox 360 backwards compatibility, and now maybe the Xbox original backwards compatibility with Xbox One features on it somehow. I think maybe they'll go that route. As Grey Mouse was saying, Sea of Thieves, Crackdown 3, no Halo, that's surprising. No Gears of War, that's surprising. Maybe a Recore 2.
Actually, I did forget to mention State of Decay. Actually, that's a Microsoft exclusive as well. And that will have a presence.
But for me, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, Grey Mouse covered a lot of it, and that's what I see about Microsoft at this point.
Yeah, I think Microsoft really finds themselves in kind of a tough spot right now.
All three of them do.
Well, more or less. I don't expect a lot of earth-shattering announcements from the big three, but I already said that before, and that's something that we're really going to touch on a little bit with each and every one of them a little bit later. But with Microsoft themselves, I think what's a lock, just like you guys said, they're going to unveil the Scorpio. They're going to show what the final production model looks like. I am hoping that they announce an MSRP along with it. Okay. Well, they're going to have to, considering that, the thing's going to be on store shelves this Christmas anyway, so they're going to have to do the MSRP.
Okay. $5.99 or $6.99?
They're going to be, here's the thing. Right now as it is, if they don't try to swing for $4.99, in which case they're going to be losing hundreds of dollars per unit. All right. They're going to have their uphill battle is going to be that much harder when it comes to convincing your casual fan that this is a console that you want to go ahead and get a hold of. All right. Especially considering that, all right, when they go out of their way and they push like exclusives and everything, we've got, you guys said, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay 2, Crackdown 3, but again, these are all titles that we've seen in previous E3s. The other thing too is that you know, I think what they're going to do when they go ahead and they push out the Scorpio, especially considering how they've been trying to go ahead and position it, is that they're going to sit there. They're really going to milk, oh, hey, look, this is how all the EA sports titles look better on the Scorpio in comparison to everything else, all right? They're going to do the whole live demo of a whole bunch of games that aren't exclusive to the console, all right?
Yeah.
But the one thing that I predict that they're going to be doing that's unfortunately not just going to be them saying this, it's going to be parroted across the majority of the publishers out there, is that they're going to be pushing the games as a service thing. And also, you know, Xbox Game Pass, and trying to sell that out as, okay, this is the great big thing for gamers. This is the brand new box of sliced bread that everybody has been waiting for, all right? And unfortunately, like I said, the way that it's going, especially considering the earnings statements, things that we've heard over the last few weeks, they're not going to be the only person saying this. So my money on them putting out an exclusive that's going to completely blow away, I'm not going to make that bet. Okay, I'm just not. Okay, I'm going to bet that if they do mention you know, a brand new exclusive, that it's going to be under the caveat that it's timed exclusive again, like some of the other titles that they did last year. Okay, well, I don't see it happening right now for other ones. Yeah, exactly.
Well, the problem too is I think that Microsoft is not catering to the casual gamer. I mean, because the casual gamer is not going to spend $500 for a 4K 60 frames per second. That's more towards a hardcore gamer, if you ask me. That's just my opinion. Because you got computers that if you spend a little extra money, maybe, I don't know, $600, $700, and you could actually outperform the Xbox Scorpio in all aspects.
Yeah.
And we're talking about no frame locks or anything like that. So when you said that Microsoft's having a problem right now, and it's going to continue even through this E3 with the casual gamer. You know, they had that problem when the Xbox One first was announced back, or the launch in 2013. That's not really a casual gamer machine. If you're spending $500 for a console, that's not casual gaming. That's an investment.
Yeah, but let's go ahead and move past that, because the thing is that we could spend a full 40 minutes just talking about by itself, and we're gonna try to go ahead and cover the other members of the big three. All right, of which, you know, that pretty much sums up what we're kind of expecting from Microsoft. I'd say as far as the room for any of us to be surprised come a week from now, I don't think there's a lot of wiggle room. I'm not saying that there isn't going to be something that shows up on the floor that you know makes us go, ooh, that looks pretty interesting. Because guess what? That's happened every E3. All right, even during the botched E3 from 2012, 2013. All right, there's always been something from there that's you know made gamers say, hey, that looks actually pretty interesting. So this one, not too much wiggle room. But let's go on to Sony, which is actually going to be doing their big E3 conference Monday, June 12th. That's going to be starting up West Coast time. It says that they're going to be starting at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. What are our big predictions for Sony this E3?
They're going to paste Crash. They're going to paste God of War. They're going to paste... Okay. In other words, shit that we already know that's coming. I don't think they're going to have announcing anything that's new that will actually... Or nostalgic that will capture us again, unless it's a Chrono Trigger remake. But they're going to try to push their VR to its limits as far as saying... Game, third-party game, VR. They're going to try to do that as much as they possibly fucking can, because they're going to have to try to sell the VR to us. As far as exclusives-wise, I don't see any star power there. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I don't think, they're barely going to have any Vita stuff.
Oh, and if they do, they're probably not going to be the ones marketing it out on their own stage. That's for sure. What about you, Grey Mouse? What are your thoughts for Sony this E3?
Well, I agree 100% with what the theme said. I think it's going to be capital VR.
We are VR.
I was trying to.
No. All right.
Anyway,
go ahead, Grey Mouse.
It's better than Power Rangers, in my opinion.
No, I disagree. Anyway, yeah, they're going to be doing VR a lot, and but I mean VR. There's a couple of games that have been successful in VR. Resident Evil 7, to name one,
yeah, but
it was extremely.
Yeah,
it was very good, and I'm sure there'll probably be a couple more games. But in all honesty, I think
Madden.
Huh?
Madden?
No.
I think the horror
Wait, Reverend, how much you want to bet? No way, I don't feel like losing any money. Maybe sports will go to VR this time.
Yeah,
Seriously.
Yeah, I'll touch VR.
Hasn't done it. As far as all the genres from Sony,
I'll touch VR in a second. But yeah, what else, Grey Mouse? Was there anything else that?
Yeah, I think it'd be pushing more of the horror genre in VR because that seems like it's more suitable. Jump scare, cheap jump scares type thing. But there are a couple games that I'm very interested in. Detroit Become Human as one of them. I'd like to see more of that. I definitely want to see more of that game. It's very.
Is that an exclusive?
Huh? Yes.
Is that an exclusive?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Also, as an exclusive, I think there's Ni no Kuni 2. That's it's from Bandai Namco. That's an exclusive as well. Spider-Man is another exclusive game. We've seen a little bit of it last year, but I want to see more. I want to see more gameplay, how it comes out. So, yeah, I mean, there are some. We'll probably see Kingdom's Heart 3. We'll probably see that a little bit. We'll probably maybe I'm pushing it. Maybe we'll see a little bit of Final Fantasy VII remake. But Days Gone. I mean, when has Naughty Dogs let us down? I mean, come on. So we'll see those type of games on their stage. That's pretty much guaranteed. But other than that, I think like Dean said earlier, I think it's definitely they're going to try to push that VR to its fullest extent, and that's good, I guess. But I'm not one who really is interested in the VR. So if that's what most of their conference is going to be about, that's definitely going to turn me off. I
mean, yeah, The Last of Us 2 will probably have a VR thing on it. The Uncharted spin-off will probably have some type of VR thing on it, just to add more to the game, whatever. But I'm not sure if they're going to have VR as far as their own first-party titles that are going to actually just capture everybody's attention, capture everybody's eye.
Yeah, I mean,
that have the killer app as far as saying, "Wow, I need to get VR so I can play that."
I mean, don't get me wrong. Resident Evil 7 is a type of game that is built around VR. It seems, there's nothing but static scores about that. So, yeah. So VR is going to be a big thing, I think, at their conference. But I mean, that's all that I could really think of. Sony. I mean, like you said with Microsoft, there's nothing really being surprising that I don't think it's going to come out of this.
I think what's going to be really indicative about Sony's show and everything else is that depending on how much coverage they actually sit there and dedicate to VR, it'll give us a good idea about whether or not it's going to be something that they're even going to pursue supporting for another year. All right, really. Because the thing is that when it came to sales of of the PS4 VR, it didn't hit the way that Sony wanted it to. All right. Granted, there were also a few other things that could be contributed to that, and that was the fact that, you know, people were like waiting for the PS4 Pro to go ahead and come out, and to get that along with that. Once you combine those two, though, the price of entry was really high, and it didn't sit there and it didn't get the adoption rate that they were hoping to.
PS4 Pro Slim.
Well, the thing is,
don't know, but like I said, depending on the presence of VR within their presentations, how much it's actually going to be a presence, it's going to be really indicative on whether or not Sony is still settled on supporting that. Okay.
I've seen a lot of VR. I was in Walmart just the other day, and there's a whole wall of VR.
But that's
and find them is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but that's not part of my predictions, though. All right, that's, you know, whether or not that they're still sitting there on store shelves. I already know that. I don't need to predict that. Okay. But as far as
on shelves than there are Nintendo Switches.
Yeah. But as far as Sony goes, like I said, depending on how big VR is in their presentation, that'll indicate whether or not this is something they're going to support. Okay. Because they were all gung-ho about it last year, but it didn't do as well, anywhere near as well as they hoped it to. And now, after the first flood of games that actually came in that supported VR route, there's really not a lot about it at all anymore that you hear. All right. Now, the one thing that I think we're going to be seeing, and that's kind of a lock, like you guys said, Days Gone, God of War, the Spider-Man, probably the Crash and everything else. There's actually going to be huge, where Sony is going to just bathe in the limelight, is that they're going to sit there and they're going to go, hey, look, these are our exclusive titles that, guess what, you can't find on our competitive platforms, all right, other competitive platforms. And that's going to happen just by default, okay? The thing that kills me, all right, and the thing that we will start hearing from Sony, all right, that will make me worry more than anything else, all right? And it's not an announcement, it's not a hint about the PS5. If they start mentioning games as a service on fucking stage, all right, it's not going to make me happy, all right? Because that just means that
if Microsoft does it on their stage and then there's backlash.
Well, here's the thing, all right? As far as it goes, I think that particular thing is probably going to be left up to individual developers, individual publishers, third-party publishers, to go ahead and handle on their particular conferences. But if those words, or that sort of inkling goes ahead and it creeps up into their presentation, then that's something I'm going to be concerned about. It's because, like I said, it's not just Microsoft that wants to turn all home consoles into these set-top boxes, but it's everybody. All the first-party publishers want to go ahead and do that. So if we start hearing it from Sony too, then yeah, I think that's going to be something that, as much as I've seen YouTube gamers actually sit there and say that they're reading articles that refer to that sort of thing, nobody's talking about it directly. All right, nobody's talking about what that actually fucking means. Okay, and I think a lot of people are going to have to start getting more concerned if 2 out of the 3 big publishers actually go ahead and start, touting that in front of the world's biggest fucking video game stage. All right. All right. Which actually brings us to our the third one out of the big 3. Nintendo. They're still set, even though they're not going to have the Switch there on hand at the booth and everything else. They're still set to go ahead and have a press conference. That's going to be happening on Tuesday, June 13th, and that's going to be happening right 9 o'clock early in the morning. So what are your thoughts? What are your predictions on what Nintendo is going to be offering to everybody as far as their conference goes?
More Zelda DLC. Mobile announcements. 3DS announcements, maybe a couple of exclusives here and there for the 3DS. Nintendo I don't think they're gonna do a Smash right now. They're gonna show more Super Mario Odyssey. They're gonna do that. Man, now this is a part of the hope section. I hope they a 2D or 3D Metroid. I really hope that they do that. But as far as predictions go, it's like, man, I don't know. Maybe Nintendo will probably show us their VR. That you'll have to be like 3 feet away from your Nintendo Switch.
They do have that patent for the HMD. What about you, Grey Mouse? What are your thoughts, predictions for Nintendo?
Well, to start off with, I didn't know that. I figured that they would have stuff like a small presence, a small booth or something, so people could play Splatoon 2 and ARMS. I was thinking that they would have that, but I'm really surprised when you said that they weren't.
Yeah.
So, I disagree. There will not be any Zelda DLC. It's already been announced.
Yeah, they're gonna show it though.
It's our one.
Showing it in action.
There's going to be a lot of 3DS announcements, I think. There's a couple of games that's on the horizon that I think it's another Fire Emblem game and a couple other games. I think right now Nintendo just needs to maintain. I mean, they had a good launch of the Nintendo Switch. It's selling faster than what the Wii did when it was at this point of its life. So that's a good thing. And then, like you said, I think we'll probably see. I don't know. I don't know.
For Nintendo, I think it's going to be pretty simple. They're just going to have to show off more games. Okay. What they have to do is that they have to show off that they have more games coming down the pike for the Nintendo Switch, and they have to show off that third-party publishers are signing on and that they are dedicating titles to it. Okay, the usual suspects. We're probably going to see Super Mario Odyssey, like you guys mentioned. I think they're still going to continue on with the marketing press of ARMS and Splatoon 2. I have no doubts that they're going to go ahead and they're going to do like the whole, hey, look, this is what's all involved with our online service and everything else. You guys know the price, but here's everything in detail from guys who are talking really, really choppy English. Like I said, the only thing that I'm expecting from Nintendo really is to sit there and keep on showing that they have more titles coming. All right. Not all of it's going to be the most cutting edge stuff. Not all of it's going to be the most graphically impressive stuff in comparison to a lot of other things over there at E3. But as long as they're able to sit there and show, hey, look, we're still pressing ARMS, we're still pressing, Splatoon 2, Super Mario Odyssey, we're going to have showcase the shit out of that. And then if they have other third-party games that they could sprinkle in between, I think we could see like a better indication as far as what they're planning on going ahead and releasing for the rest of the year at least. They're going to have to go out of their way and explain how online goes as far as if they have like a working version of their online app for smart devices. They're going to have to show that off. Okay, they're going to have to show that off. Along with the other offerings that they have for mobile. Because the thing is that even though the service has been delayed all the way until 2018, people are going to be asking about it. Okay, and not only are they going to be asking about it, but it's going to be critical for the two games that they're currently showcasing in force right now, Splatoon 2 and ARMS. It's going to be critical for both of them. All right. But other than that, the other thing that we got to sit there and we gotta look forward to, or we got to be wary of. All right, we have to keep tabs on how big the 3DS presence is in their presentation, because if it looks significantly smaller than it was the previous year, or even the 3DS Direct that they had earlier, earlier in the year, then that might be cues that, support and everything as far as their focus and development is being cut out from that particular platform, So that's one thing that we're definitely going to have to pay attention to.
Do you actually think that this is the time to do that?
No, I think there's definitely there's enough developers and publishers still supporting the system in order to sit there and keep it alive. What I'm saying though is that it's going to happen inevitably, and depending on how big the presence is with the 3DS within their actual conference, that can be taken as a big indication as to whether or not it's happening sooner than later. Okay. The other thing that we have to be worried about is that if the 3 words, games as a service, gets uttered by anybody off of that fucking Nintendo stage, I'm like said before, we're hearing it from first party and third party publishers all over the fucking place. Nobody's talking about it. Like, everybody feels free to go ahead and critique the services that are dependent solely on that. But nobody wants to go ahead and talk about it, about what it actually means to us as fucking gamers. All right. If they utter that too, that's gonna be something that concerns me a lot, because so far out of the big 3 publishers, first party publishers, they seem to be the last holdout when it comes to this. All right. Nintendo seems to be the last one who prescribes putting out a game as complete as fucking possible. Okay, where the DLC is actual real DLC and expansions that adds on to a finished, polished game. So if they start mentioning that also, because their investors want to go ahead and show the industry that they're keeping up with the Joneses too, that's going to be something we're going to have to worry about.
Yeah. That games as a service stuff. I hope that doesn't happen with Nintendo, especially, as you were saying. Yeah. But it looks like it's going to go that route. It's going to go that way, at least for the others.
Yeah. No, I mean, Sony hasn't sat there and started flying that mantle, but guess what? The third-party publishers who've got their best-selling hits for that particular platform, they're flying that flag high and proud. Mm-hmm. So it's something that we have to sit there and be wary of.
Yeah.
Especially as old school gamers who actually like owning physical copies of the games that they play.
Besides all that, from any of these fuckers, what do you want to see in the short time that we have? What would you like to see?
I would like to see a 2D Metroid. All right. I would like Sony to sit there and say, I would like Sony to sit there and come out and say, hey, look, we've heard rumblings about people reporting on a PS5. It's not happening anytime soon. No. I would like Microsoft to sit there and say, hey, look, we've reopened our doors as far as our regulations and policies for indie developers and all of that. We are friendly for them again, that they can go ahead and they can come back to our platform. And we're making it just as easy as we did when the Xbox 360 first launched. Okay. That's what I want to see from them. What about you, Gray Mouse? Was there anything that stood out as something that you wanted to go ahead and see?
I like to see more Vita support, more 3DS support. I don't think those consoles have enough support. The Vita mostly.
The 3DS? Really?
No, no. He said the Vita mostly, yeah. But yeah, I would definitely agree about that.
Yeah, the Vita. Yeah.
Yeah. What else, Gray Mouse? Was there anything else? Yeah. Yeah, I think you know at this point, I think
for me, I would love Microsoft to revert back to their first party that they had since the original Xbox. Seriously, I don't even have to go through the games. I just want to see them go back there and actually use those fucking weapons again. Be like, hey, you want games? Hey, what about what we used to do, what we used to have? And be like, all right, we're bringing it back. And then just show a montage of shit that we knew and loved and played from the original Xbox era, and just show that shit and be like, I would love another Legacy of Kain. And Sony, yeah, they're going to probably show more Street Fighter V characters on their fucking stage, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Capcom, if you're listening, please, on either of these stages, Power Stone 3, Rival Schools 3, please.
Yeah. And I think that pretty much encapsulates our short thoughts, our clean thoughts as we have it so far as what we're hoping to see at E3, what we're expecting to see. You know, predictions are like assholes. Everybody has one. In which case, we really want to know, you know, what are your predictions, folks? What are your thoughts on E3 coming up? What are you expecting to see? What do you think, if something does show up, what's going to surprise you the most? We want to know. Tell us by leaving a comment below. While you're at it, hit like, hit subscribe. We appreciate all the subscriptions and all the likes as possible. You know, it makes our day. With that, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. We're the Middle-Aged Guys. We're going to wrap up our E3 predictions right here. I am the Reverend.
The Theme here.
And Gray Mouse 1.
Once again, for the benefits of common sense, logic, and gaming. Credits.